actually building somebody, grow somebody. Okay, I think that's point from Shailen's, and then let's see. Mr. Jing said that this depends on so far maybe from Shailen's part, and then this part's delivered. Is there any further question dulu? Ada nggak?
For me,
Everything clear? Anything? Oh ya, Shailin boleh.
enggak sih, like just to add on a little bit on my point over here. So it's basically right. Apa yang Sarah mentioned juga kan ya, like we need to understand the people first, like whether they're actually like their motivations, capacity, and so on, right? As per the hiring principles. But in addition to that, right? It's basically you can say that it's part of like inspection in some ways. So like inspecting your own team gitu loh. So trainings is actually part of the tools as well as the adoption, right, in this case. So if it's actually you can actually see whether it's running well or not. So basically is this like you can also like categorize the issue as well. So if the training doesn't really work, then is it like what kind of problem is it? Is it like the tools? Or is it like the adoption in this case? And then you eventually like will find out, are you doing the inspection itself right? So inspection is basically like seeing like the before as well as the after in this case. So from there you can actually see whether it's like the whether the issue is actually like with the team itself, or is it actually like the tools or like adoption, like referring to the training itself. So maybe like a few additional points from me. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Any other more comments or additional point? Nggak ada ya, okay. Let's see what Mr. Jing said. Maybe over to you, sir, to elaborate more. Maybe you need to deliver your point.
Sure. Everything Ara said is right on point. So we need to understand our teams. But it goes back to this principle that we always talk about. Selection is probably more than 60% of whether or not you're going to have a good team. So select a team that is low capacity, low understanding, and be ready to feel frustrated with their work, okay? So I just went ahead for the anonymity, I didn't put everyone's name here, but Nadine, take a look at the understanding of the three people that you just mentioned, right? 3, 2s, and 1s. Okay, so would it surprise you if we've graded them at 3, 2s, and 1s, that they would have a difficult time absorbing the training that we have given them? So remember also back to the condition upon which we had agreed to employ them. We had agreed to employ them because they showed extraordinary motivation. That was their strong point. So in this particular case, it's not one of where you need to give more training, it's where they need to demonstrate more motivation in this particular moment. And how do they demonstrate motivation? Kyla has the correct way of showing that their motivation is focused in the correct area. Tests. You need to be testing them rather than training them. The training is already there. It's already plentiful, but it's just that they're not passing their tests. So when a student doesn't pass their test, the teacher doesn't give an extra lesson or agree to hold the class all over again for the benefit of the student. The student goes back and does their homework, just like any normal person should. So in this particular case, just as a leader, be conscious of this is a problem that we had decided to actually inherit because we had a urgency to hire for these roles and we didn't have the time to necessarily, perfect, right? So I would say this is just consequence of a decision that we made a month ago. And as a result, then be patient. I think as Shailin said, do you have actually the time for patience? And we do right now. It's not super urgent because we have been in sort of a frosty climate where the market wasn't really moving that quickly, but it's changing. And that is where this motivation really needs to kick in and start changing the expectations, okay? Recently, also, what we've been hearing is this. Shailin has notified me that there's complaints about working hours, about, restrictions to the government. And I listened to some of these things, but I don't think it's anything to do with the law or it's nothing to do with legal conditions. We don't think that because we don't hear the top performers complaining about that. We don't hear the most let's say, visionary people in our company complain about that. We generally hear that coming from the people of the lowest capacity who are having the greatest struggles. So once again, go back to the very beginning again. Upon what condition did you hire this person? Did you hire them fully qualified, or did you hire them conditional upon that they would need to catch up? And if you hire them based on that, then you need to hold yourself and themselves accountable for they need to catch up, right? Otherwise, this can't go on. So that's kind of like the consequence of when we hire people that are a little bit below standard. Now, in the future, a lot can be done, right? We can, of course, try to hire people from upper tranches, people with more calling. And Bila and I have talked about how to actually demonstrate the stories of what we do here in a more explicit way, such that it would attract people with the correct motivations and such. So that's it. That's my 2 cents on this one. And of course, Bila, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Bila. Okay, happy birthday, Bila. But this one, I would vote this down, and I voted this down after I was saying happy birthday to you, so that there is a little bit of a sweet frosting on this truth cake I'm about to send you. It's not the lack of confidence or independency. See, that's not something we can manage. We can't really manage somebody who doesn't have self-confidence. That self-confidence needs to be developed within. Once again, back to this DHawk model. Integrity, motivation, capacity. Confidence comes as a result of understanding and capacity, right? When you understand that you can do something, you generally feel more confident. So understanding is generally something we can marginally help with by coaching, by explaining, by spending time with a person. But the easiest way to get understanding is actually for the person to accumulate a lot of experience. And that generally means more time, right? And so, Shaylin, when people say that they need to work overtime and they don't feel confident, they are trapped themselves in a kind of a quandary where they will never exit. So how will you actually gain the confidence if you don't get the experience and the understanding that then comes as a consequence of that? Okay, so anyhow, there's not too much we can manage if we believe that we can manage people's confidence and their independency. These are results, not factors, okay? Independence happens when you master something, when you develop the capacity, the understanding, the knowledge, and the experience, and you can do it all by yourself now. That's when you can become independent. And the same goes with confidence, okay? So what we can manage is we can manage selection, we can manage development, right? But you also have to realize this. The further down you go on this list, the less control you have. It is hard to have control over somebody's integrity. If someone's going to be a thief, it's hard to tell them not to be a thief. If somebody wants to be a bandit, it's hard to get that out of them. That's very, very difficult to change. But motivation is similarly very challenging. The easiest things that we can offer are experience, knowledge, understanding. After that, as a leader, you are facing a very difficult time to increase people's capacity, to increase their motivation, to increase their integrity. You generally are better off selecting people who have already demonstrated the top 3 and not trying to develop that here, because it is very challenging, even for somebody very experienced. Okay, all right, turn it back to Ara.
Okay, thank you, sir. Few points brought up as an additional by Mr. Jing. Any other questions that you guys would like to say or ask, especially to Nadine?
Yes, I think it's answered, Kara. Thank you, Mr. Jing, and everyone for your thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, do you, sir?
Inspection. Nadine, what will you do now that you've listened and hopefully understood the key principles here? What is going to be your next course of action, not just today, but in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months, and maybe in the course of your direction as a leader yourself?
I think I'm going to have to do the test, right? That's one of the key things that I need to do to inspect, actually.
Correct.
And then observe more about their motivation, since that's the point of why we hire these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not demonstrated very, if it's not demonstrated very well, then there's no point to keep them in the team, right?
Correct. Also, Nadine, for fear, you might feel like I'm going to embarrass you for a moment here, right? But there is sometimes, this is very important. And Nadine, would you mind if I shared something? Would you hate me if I shared something that might actually
No.
make you look, okay, all right. I don't want to put Nadine on the spotlight, but sometimes, let's say when we talk about is the training good enough, sometimes we need to actually look and take a look at our own performance, okay? And let's not put Nadine on the spot or anything. It's not like that, but I just want to show something that I recently got, okay? And this is what I actually received from Jessica. So this goes back to this idea of, in order to train well and to have productive meetings like this, we should probably look for a objective way of inspecting, okay? So here's something I don't know if you've seen yet, Nadine, but I'll show you, right? So let's say, despite all the training, I asked Jessica to take a look and see what are the key inquiries that we have failed to convert over February. And there were quite a lot, like I said in the very beginning, there's over 200 million of them. But there are some that where the trainers themselves have missed opportunities, right? And they're quite significant. So here's a 60 million inquiry that was not converted. And the last person on it was, of course, the person to mention. And also here's another one, it's worth 25 million. And also it's in mention. So sometimes we have to also, I'm not doing this to embarrass anybody, please don't take it the wrong way. All I'm doing is we're here once again in a leadership circle because it's hard to get honest feedback about how we're doing as leaders. And as each one of us are, I hope, trying to positively transform ourselves, but also trying to positively transform the people around you. And getting feedback about whether or not you are leading correctly or training correctly can actually be very, very difficult to get amongst people that you're trying to lead. So this is important. Sometimes we have to examine, is our own work actually a good example from which other people are going to follow? But if our own work doesn't guide them to that particular direction, then we need to ask ourselves whether or not that could be one of the root causes, okay? So that is the only thing I'm trying to illustrate here. Take a look at your own work sometimes, see if it actually is, do you walk the walk, so to speak, okay? And take a look at that. Okay, all right.
So actually, I have comment for this.
Okay, I'm sure you do. Okay, tell me what it is.
I'm not sure whether you did analyze each one of the inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I already delivered this to Jessica and this as well. This is not a very deep analysis because mine is converted direct, not in the Airbnb.
Oh,
and then
I see.
for this, the ones that last time itu Dimas, it's not entirely Dimas' fault. It's actually, jadi we cannot see this as the last time, sir. But who has the who has the most conversations on the inquiry itself, right? So I inspect all of this. All with Dimas' sign is not actually Dimas' fault. It's the previous person. Dimas is just following up, and then it's not converted anyway. So this is. But I delivered this to BI already for the and we discussed it on the guest squad as well that the inspection system should be fair.
Okay.
It cannot be like this, sir.
Understood. Yeah. The fact remains, though, then that opens up a bigger question, which is, does the training actually then fit to the real life condition that somebody is going to be experiencing? And if we notice that somebody isn't able to, let's say, perform in the way that we would expect, is it then a matter of they haven't gotten the correct training or training in the correct context of what they're supposed to do? So losses are still losses at the end of the day. That's not to say that we didn't lose, this kind of opportunity.
Yep.
So we do need to, and this is why also, Nadine, what I've said like at the beginning of this discussion today, what we discuss is actually very, very important, right? So it cannot be just simply based on, okay, this person has an opinion on what should be discussed. It should be done, I think, by the chapter lead. What the hell? What just happened? Whoa, what just happened there?
Somebody ended the session.
Oh, well.
Oh, sorry. I meant to rejoin to refresh, but turns out I have I'm the one who has the link.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay. All right. All good here. Let's. Okay. I'm glad we recovered. Fail fast. Let's get everyone back in. So, the key is also this. This could be then a matter of, is the training pointed to the issues that are the most pressing? Okay. I inspected some of these also, Nadine, and I noticed that in a lot of these cases there were 5 or 6 people jammed into inquiry, and some people were oblivious to what the previous person had said. And in that sense, we didn't realize as a chapter that had been happening. We thought that it was more like one person, one deal, one person, one deal. So the training we had provided was in that context, that it would be a solo venture. But when I looked at it, some inquiries had like up to 6 people who were all involved across different stages of the day. So that could be also where training is required. That means maybe we're not training people on the correct things that they should be looking after, and that could be an indication. So in that matter, it is not an issue of adoption. It could be an issue of inspection, right? We didn't inspect deeply enough. We didn't find out what the root cause was. So we trained people on a subject that doesn't really fix the underlying problem, okay? So anyways, this is why we have better inspection and better training and better tools and better leadership, because you just never know which one you're going to need actually at any given point. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Ara.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can I, since we don't have any other question, Gani, only this,
I request a analysis. Why? Why? My opinion there is downvoted and.
Okay, coba lihat.
Yeah, I just want to know. Yeah.
Clear documentation, provide a good example as much as possible. Sebenarnya ini nggak salah, cuman this is not the first step. That's not the correct the correct first aid, the correct first approach to actually fix the situations gitu kan nih. Ini mungkin akan menjadi step keempat, kelima nantinya. Tapi yang pertama tadi itu you need to understand dulu situation, karena sama nih, ini sama yang kasus Nadine tadi kan inspection issue bukan adoption. Kalau ini kan adoption nih, clear documentation and so on. Di pertama inspectionnya dulu harus benar. Nah, inspect ini juga bukan guideline yang di-inspect, tapi inspect orangnya dulu gitu. Jadi kalau kita mau kasih obat, we need to understand the patient first, right? Ini batuk, apa perlu dikasih obat demam, apa obat diare, kita harus tahu dulu kan. Nah, itu maksudnya. Sebenarnya kalau step ini oke, cuman dia bukan menjadi first approach gitu.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for the explanation.
Okay, and this is also very, very important to everybody here. This is what I have noticed across the entire company, and it comes as a result of internal promotions, okay? What we have generally is when leaders, new leaders who are managing a team, they discover that they're not leading as well as they would expect to. What do? So instead of going and looking at the team, they go back and fix the tools, right? We see that happen over and over and over again. People fix the tools, but they don't ask for adoption. They don't ask for inspection. What is the underlying issue? So please just understand, I have that bias. I think, Gani, you have that bias. I've seen Lilith and Vidya have that bias. Ara tends to avoid it. I think a lot of us have that bias of going back to fix a tool whenever we don't see it work the way we want. That is not leadership. That is being a specialist again, right? That's kind of going and always looking at the tool as the root source. It is not always the tool. Generally, in a leadership position, it is more often the tool will work as long as the team adopts it, and it will work better if you inspect and understand where the key failure points are, right? You might create a great tool that nobody adopts, or you create a great tool people adopt but it doesn't solve the right problem. Okay, so that's why the default to going to inspect, like Ara just said, your default should not be to look at the guideline first. It should be look at the team and look at, is the team actually following the guideline first. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, udah ya, Gani, jelas ya. Okay, is there any other question nggak, Gani? Maksudnya di Kodal nggak ada ya? Cuman ini.
I have new question, and I tried to put the on the Miro, but it's failed.
Is it loading right now? Is it this one?
Oh, I think so.
There's a screenshot that's loading, but it's kind of slow.
Oh, what happened? I don't.
Oh,
Okay.
it's just slow. You have a slow upload. That's it. Tell us what your question is so I can help upload it.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is how to decentralize the leadership. So how to make the member more confident to take decision without waiting too long.
Ah.
Okay. Please put up the code. Catat aja kalau nggak Gani.
Yes, I have. Yes, I. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, and everyone please put up your thoughts starting from now. Silakan.
Yeah. 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 Correct. Is it the correct vocabulary, right? Decentralisasi leadership. I think. Yeah. 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 Something like that lah. Oh, this one is appear on the top. Ah. This. Oh, still loading. Even I already using the LAN cable, but still slow upload. So I think I need to restart the Wi-Fi.
Tapi
Yeah.
udah kok Gani. It's already
already here.
on our side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Becca, what are you doing?
I'll give a little intro ya. I mean, will everyone put up their thoughts? Sebenarnya the main answer Gani still pretty much the same as the previous discussions. It is very key to understand who you select, who you hire, you know. Again, it's related to ini kenapa I keep on saying this because it is that important, you know, guys. Hawk is not just like it's not just some bullshit with list of what is motivation integrity. It is really truly key, you know. Like apa meaningnya motivations in this case? Apa meaningnya integrity in this case? In the question of Gani. Same thing, right? If a person have a good motivation, they will feel like to contribute as much as possible instead of just like, you know, sit, wait, and then let their leaders comment. Waiting for a command is not really care, right? It's somebody that is ya udah, I guess they're just here to be to be trained, to learn, but not to contribute. So understand juga nih mana orang-orang yang jadi sebenarnya 3 hal yang kita punya sekarang selection, which is growth mindset, self learner. Kenapa dilengkapi dengan bias to action? Karena a person that only have growth mindset and then self learner, they will, I believe that they mostly gonna be care about their own self development, you know. Then bias to action juga mungkin bisa juga self development, but we require a person that truly also care, and that's where the motivation come, you know. Like we required a team that truly here not just for their own benefits, not just for their own self development, personal development. Loh, ini bukan kuliah, ini professional work. Professional work itu berarti kamu diminta untuk memang berkontribusi. Kalau kamu di sini cuma doing specialist things, ngerjain reservasi, selesai convert. Oh, that's not why you're here. That's not the purpose of having you in the team. Kalau sekolah, okay, memang kamu mau getting a degree supaya misalkan bila taking communication study ya udah memang studiesnya dia memang supaya pinter communications and so on. Gani taking pariwisata because you want to be knowledgeable, understand the tourism realm and so on. Tapi kalau udah work itu bedanya daripada cuman sekolah. Kalau sekolah memang untuk mencerdaskan diri dulu kan, itu purpose nomor 1. Tapi kalau work is truly to contribute what you can do, what you can build to the team, to the company, kan poinnya di situ. So ini not just apply to leader position ya, even to specialist it should be applied, even to interns it should be applied. Jadi kira-kira major thing nih, kalian harus aware, you need to truly understand if one interns is like be here to like finishing their internship in 3 months, 6 months, or it's an interns that truly think about what legacy I can give, gitu. Itu 2 different contrast people that will require 2 different contrast treatment in trainings lah, in anything. It will be, you guys will have like different treatment. Itu dulu harus dipahami in your team who exactly. Yes, to you, sir?
Let me ask Gani, who are you having this issue with right now, Gani?
The person that will offboarding soon first, and the second one is Reza, third one is Wei, and Karis.
Okay, Febi, Wei, Reza, and Karis, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm BKM person except Garrett. Garrett is, you know, excellent guy.
Superbly different. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, this contrast is very, very.
All right. So yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Did you look at their candidate cards?
Not yet.
Okay, take a look at their candidate cards.
Okay, then. The selection is taking the first point, really important point, right? But then, what if let's say my selection is failed, okay? And then we got a person here. So what we can do?
Well, it's kind of like this, Gani. It's like if you go and you buy a car and you didn't shop carefully for it and you bought it, now you have it. So there's a few things you can do, right? You can live with it. you can sell it, you can trade it for something else, right? Or maybe you could repurpose it, right? You could take the car and make it into a lawnmower or something, make it into something else. So in these particular conditions, let's go to Ara. Actually, let's let Ara give a shot at this one.
Oh yeah, what was the question in terms of Gani? Sir?
Once you've actually gotten a person that is less than ideal, less than motivated, less than, let's say, qualified, what do you do now?
Like they're literally not qualified in all the Hawks hierarchy,
Or how unqualified are they, Gani? Are they what level do you think you are seeing in these people? What's their critical flaw?
I think on the capacity, sir.
Okay, well, capacity is pretty far up there, right? So,
okay, my judgment, I believe they have motivation. I believe, okay, but then the capacity is, I think, the next is and the issue.
Okay.
Okay. Berarti motivationnya good ya. This is the advice again to everyone. This is the advice I give because for the people that stated that their motivation is good, but the capacity is not, gitu kan? Okay. Kalau aku ya Gani, this is my leadership style. I don't know, mungkin Jing has different, but in my case, I would force them. I would expect some sort of result that to be forced to the team. Misalkan nih, ini kan problemnya Gani in the case that people are passive gitu kan, mostly problem solving gitu kan, so on. The things that I would do, ini kayak apa sih? Aku nggak tahu analoginya sih, but usually what I do is that I'll just give to them, I'll just give the problems to them and expect them to come with some problem solving, and it has to be forced. It has to be assigned from one side, from you. Jadi ini bukan lagi kayak selection, bukan lagi optional kayak ayo dong siapa bisa menyelesaikan, kasih ide. No, you have to solve it. And I believe that a capacity can grow if you give some pressure to people, Anyway, humans itu have a good survival instinct kok. Jadi that's what I believe, if I give, nggak mau tahu gimana kamu harus solving these problems. You have to submit your proposal to solve this problem by this weekend. That's what I do. And that's how you normalize people to think, not just to accept and receive, but they will automatically think and try to survive, okay, ke arah. And then by that time, mungkin ada orang yang kayak genuinely, okay, I get it, I can, this is my proposal ke arah. Atau ada orang yang take some time, okay, I need to learn first, I need to read more, I need to watch video first, and so on. Tapi that needs to be forced gitu loh, Gani. Bukan yang optional, aku leader, ada aku sama Shelin, it's okay everyone, I got your back. No, you have to solve it, Bila, how exactly you're going to do that. And that's how exactly people transform. That's how exactly people, so pain points is actually the part where you transform. If you have not go through a pain points, if you have not struggle, you won't transform. That's so far what I notice from people. So gitu, that's the thing from my side. I think Mr. Jing.
I'd love to ask Bila how she feels about that.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear, Bila.
Oh, okay.
And even Shaylin too at the same time. Both of you. Oh, now I can't hear Bila.
Yeah, I experienced it firsthand because Kara was also, because Kara was also like my mentor, right, for my whole time, all this time. And I'd say, I think that's what you should do in a way, because I think the difference between Kak Ara and Kak Gani is that Kak Gani is really, really, really guiding as a person, because you try to guide someone step by step. Meanwhile, Kak Ara is more like giving, you should do this, and then can do anything you want with it, gitu. And that's a freedom. I think it's something that you need to combine in a way, so you can give them like guidance, but not step by step, like literally word by word, like a baby, because it doesn't make them like understand what you want and how you're going to grow from that. So you need to give some apa ya, a freedom to a certain extent, like Kak Ara. So I'm going to give you this, and maybe this is some of the instruction. You can follow it, but yeah, it's all up to you. I do not have to like guide you step by step to all of this project. So yeah, I think those two are what I think after experiencing both Kak Ara and Kak Gani leadership.
Excellent. And wait, let me go over to Nadine. Nadine, I think I've been your mentor for conversion. Do you think I ever took it easy on you?
What do you mean took it easy?
Did I indulge you? Did I say, oh, did I hold you kind of accountable for doing things correctly?
Mm, yeah, I think you do it less than Ara, sir.
Okay. All right. That's true. That's true. I should probably pick up a little bit more of that from Ara. Gani, the one thing I've noticed in Ara's leadership style that's very effective, and I even asked Bila at one point, did she feel oppressed by Ara? Because Ara would be very, very ferocious, and she would be, what would I call, uncompromising. That Bila had to do it. There would be no surrender. There would be no backing out, because you have to kind of think of it this way, and Ara just pointed out this very, very clearly. You see, people don't grow until they leave their comfort zone. But when they leave their comfort zone, they're going to go through the fear zone. I don't know if I can do it. What if I make a mistake? What if I do this wrong? Fuck that shit. They just got to do it, right? You got to get them to push past that fear zone, because it's only until you push them past the fear zone that they will start learning. And it's only after they learn that they can actually grow. Most people that don't transform, they're stuck here all the time. This is what I see when people say, "Oh, can I get less working hours? Can I whatever? Can I?" That's trying to stay safe, trying to feel in control. When a person is forced to do something that they didn't think they can do, and then they can do it, they grow confidence, they grow power, they grow wisdom, and that is how it relates to D Hawk's other a magnificent quote, which is, given the right circumstances and from no more than just dreams, determination, and the liberty to try, quite ordinary people consistently do extraordinary things. Okay? Think about that. Put that, understand that, and then that is a good way that you can expect extraordinary things from your team. Give them the right circumstances.
Yes. Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, to wrap up, basically, also Gani, this is what I've been proven very effective, because once you use this method to lead your team, it's automatically given again the right circumstances. Circumstances here means that you create a culture. You're going to create a culture and you normalize that, and then that's gonna set your team performance stable. Jadi aku makanya bisa confidence dan pede juga di employee, nggak ada yang underperform, at least bagus, stabil. Kalau misalkan ada orang naik turun fluktuatif, that's normal, tapi at least nggak ada yang bener-bener down ngangong gitu. Ini ngomongin let's say Bila, Shelin, Vera ya. So itu yang what it means by right circumstance, and it's very effective. It's not you think that you apply to one person, but actually it gives the impact to the entire team. So that's why it's key to apply this gitu. Okay, I think we're running a little bit out of time, but it's been a very